But I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more to be that girl who walks 1,000 miles to fall down at your door.
Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, today we have a treat for you, by which I mean you'll be a treat for him, because it's time to talk about Savage Deviljho. Savage Deviljho visually has a lot of similarities with regular Deviljho, but the big bad differences are where it's at. First off, the color change. His skin is closer to gray than its normal green, and when he is extra enraged, he gets a little puff of dragon smoke swirling around his face, just to make him look all the more menacing. Probably the most noticeable thing, though, is his scarring. Wounded all over his body and glowing out of every single scar. This Deviljho has seen a ton of combat, and no matter what scars he may bear, it is clear that his opponent suffered worse than he did. As if the Savage Deviljho is still alive, standing in front of you, that means that he ate them. Hunger rules his life above all else, as he is legitimately crazy with hunger. Savage Deviljho is in fact the definition of the slang term hangry.
You're a little hangry, Claire.
I'm not hangry, Tito.
Hungry and angry? You hangry, Claire.
And that actually has an effect on his fight as well. One of the most interesting mechanics of Savage Joe is that he goes out of his way to eat during the fight, whether it be to take a chunk out of another large monster, killing and eating small monsters, or just eating you when he gets the chance. No matter what it is, as Savage Deviljho eats more throughout a hunt, he actually gains a damage buff.
Catch!
Which brings me to his actually new individual moves, starting off with a diving bite attack where he face plants on the floor only to roll up instantly, as it is well documented that Savage Joe has no chill. He will not wait on the floor, he must be up now! I love this attack so much, it fits everything about him and it makes me smile or chuckle just every single time I see it. Savage Joe has a few more dragon based options as well. Of course he has his regular cloudy mist in front of him, but now he also has a proper straight on beam with some really decent range, as well as now having the ability to create clouds of dragon element that actually stay on the ground.
Run away! Run away! Run away! Run away!
These little clouds deal ticking damage while you're inside of them, and also give you Dragon Blight on contact, so if you do like elements, then you won't like them. He uses these clouds in a few ways, one of which is another little line he places down, and one of which is a particularly thick cloud that he just makes in a nice area around his face, as if he wasn't hard enough to hit already. Finally then, for individual moves, is his, well, you guessed it, super move! God damn, guys, god fucking damn! Deviljho, you crazy little guy, you Savage Deviljho pours Dragon Element into the ground, which after a slight delay pops out like a giant geyser of red smoky lightning, like a Teo supernova of dragon coming out vertically from the floor, and it is simultaneously gorgeous and terrifying, much like him.
Indeed.
What is arguably more interesting about Savage Deviljho, and matters more to the rest of the fight though, is just his general behavior. First off, once you engage him and to actually do a little bit of damage, he will enrage, significantly faster than most monsters, and in fact, once he is enraged, he will stay enraged for the entire fight. Like, literally the entire fight. This was the case for Savage Deviljho in old games affecting skills like Agitator, but in Iceborne, with World's mechanics having a permanently enraged monster means so much more. The two biggest factors being that he is nearly impossible to flint shot into a wall, as monsters are immune to flint shots while enraged. And the one that you know, maybe just might have noticed earlier, he will follow you anywhere. Literally anywhere. There is no safety from Savage Deviljho.
Run away! Run away! Run away!
Hey, you already used that clip! It is applicable to every single part of Savage Deviljho, just like his anger, which is represented in the fact that he has a secondary enraged state, a super enraged if you will, where his face gets covered in the dragon smoke and he does a lot more of his dragony based abilities. And on top of this, his anger is represented even further, as he does in fact have new combos using his old pre-existing moves that string together some of his deadliest attacks with blinding speed. Honestly, everything you thought was deadly when normal Deviljho did it Savage Deviljho has found some way, somehow, to do it in a deadlier manner. In fact, the only respite that you'll find in his fight is when you have other large monsters around. Savage Deviljho actively targets other large monsters instead of hunters, actually prioritizing them, and only really attacking the hunter once in a blue moon. This means while you may not be able to straight up run away from him due to his enraged state, you can drag him to another large monster to cause a distraction, though be careful because he will attempt to chomp off bits of his opponents, which, as stated earlier, will just power him up further. As far as how it feels, it's honestly exactly how it sounds. This is one of the craziest, most panicked, frantic fights that there is in the entire game. There are no real breaks, and the opportunities to actually hit the Savage Deviljho are few and far between, and often not even in his squishy parts. He is unflinch-shottable. He follows you everywhere. He has tons of interactions with other monsters, and he is just absolutely lethal. If you are looking for a challenge, then this guy will 100% provide it. If you're just looking for a good time, then there is still more than enough to enjoy in this fight for you too. As for his armor, the Savage Deviljho set is just as much a faithful recreation from the old games as the high-ranked Deviljho set was. Both the alpha and beta set are absolutely glowing, shining, stunning detail with a much darker color, and honestly a part of me wishes I could just permanently wear these armor sets. On the topic of skills, as a whole, the alpha set has 5 handicraft, 5 stamina thief, 3 speed eating, and 2 part breaker. The full beta set comes with 3 stamina thief, 2 speed eating, and 1 part breaker, and both of the sets have a 3-set bonus of Stamina Thief Secret, which unlocks 2 more ranks to Stamina Thief. The full armor set isn't completely terrible, the handicraft is a big plus, and the Stamina Thief is very interesting, but it won't really win any best damage in a Hunter Wars. Unfortunately, as far as mix set potential as well, the Savage Joe set is very limited, as the best skill it has, which is handicraft, just doesn't exist at all on the beta pieces with the jewel slots. There are a couple of pieces you could justify using if you're trying to make a Stamina Thief Secret build, but really as far as the current damage meta goes, the Savage Deviljho armor stands no chance. As for weapons, however, Savage Deviljho has absolutely delivered. Regular Deviljho weapons in high rank were some of the best, most unique and cool designs in the game, and Savage Deviljho has just taken those, changed the color of the skin on them, added a few scars and maybe a few spikes here and there, and made them all just covered in dragon smoke, which just looks top notch. There have been a couple of slight model redesigns as well, with the most notable being the light bowgun, which now has a little tiny Deviljho muzzle coming out the front, you know, literally where the muzzle is on the gun. I just love it to death, a death which will come much faster while fighting Savage Deviljho. As far as stats go, it is mostly just the high rank weapons, but better in every category, with the most notable thing being the weapons all have base white sharpness with the ability to handicraft up to purple, which in theory means that the Deviljho weapons will be just about as good as they were in regular world, boasting some very serious raw attack, good sharpness, and a good chunk of dragon element on top of that, with the only real negative being the literally negative affinity. As a whole then, Savage Deviljho stands in a really unique position. As a returning variant, he has more changes than we ever could have predicted just upon hearing the name Savage Deviljho. He is more enjoyable than he ever was in the past, and way more interesting than even the regular Deviljho from base Monster Hunter World. He has been executed perfectly, and again I find myself saying, Capcom, you've done it again. You've made a returning monster even better than it was before. Alright everyone, I've been Cotton Dinosaur, and this has been Savage Deviljho. Do you like his changes in Iceborne? Which monster would you like to see in this series next? Like if you liked the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet. This is the brand new outro to tell you all the things that you do that we love, so let's start with something simple and say, oh, we love your eyes. When they're watching us play video games, when we make a bunch of jokes that are kinda lame, or when they gaze upon our failures as we try to kill the monsters or report important news about the kingdom Animalia. Rage, Cotton, and Hollow are all here, talking about the things you want to hear, so if you want to be the first to hear, like and subscribe and the bell and we'll cheer. Some of you are patrons even though we are all the noobs and you're the pros. There's nothing we can do to thank you. No, really, there's nothing we could possibly do. Goodbye.